EBC. We're here today at Castle Combe to conduct the most comprehensive braking test of its kind. We're going to be comparing EBC products against the OE items on these three cars behind me and showing, together with data, just how much of an improvement and difference EBC products will make to upgrading your vehicle. We've got Jake Hill, a professional racing driver, here today with us to give honest, detailed feedback on how the brakes feel from behind the driving seat, so you can imagine how the EBC products are performing when pushed to the absolute limit out on track.
Hi, I'm Jake Hill and I'm driving for MB Motorsport in the British Touring Car Championship, the pinnacle of British motorsport. And today I've been invited down by EBC to test these three lovely cars behind me on the OE versus EBC brake pad and disc tests. Let's get into it. best I've got. The brake pad is pretty good as a standard pad. I'm losing the first probably 15-20% of brake travel. That's about it. The performance is staying there, but really it's the travel. You know, when you hit the brake, you want to have a really nice hard pedal, give you good confidence into the braking zones. It lacks a little bit of confidence, but the performance is still there. There's not much fade with the pad. Both the pads and disc work well together, and it seems to keep itself quite cool as well, which is nice. So, like I said, the most I saw after, you know, a 10-lap run is probably 400 degrees. So it's not massive, but at the same time, you know, credit to BMW, it's quite a good standard brake pad option. So yeah, very good.
Just got out of the 1M as well, which is having the EBC brakes fitted to it now.
Yeah.
But how did that go for you, those hot laps?
To be honest, they were quite good. The standard brake setup of the vehicle is brilliant. You know, it inspires pretty good confidence, and yes, you do get a bit of a long pedal as the run went on. I did about 10 laps.
How many laps so do you start to feel that?
Probably 5 or
fade?
6, so it's definitely a lot later than what you're experiencing in the GTR. So the brake pedal does stay with you, but again, the car, like we spoke about, the car is almost over braked, you know, for the size of the 1M.
Yeah,
it's got the
M3 brakes on it. It's a fairly relatively light
the disc
car
size
in comparison.
is big. You know, it provides a really good base setup for a great road car. Which
and
is
what were
it
the
is.
sort of temperatures that you saw on the 1M then? Because it was much lower than it was in the GTR, wasn't it?
So the GTR you're seeing sort of 600-700 degrees.
Yeah,
you know, it's really not good.
And in that you're seeing kind of 400, 450.
Yeah, 420 was the most.
And you've done more laps as well.
Yeah, so we did 10 laps, and the brake pedal still felt, you know, pretty good, and I couldn't get them much above 450.
Yeah.
So the cooling package that the 1M provides is also very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, to be honest,
it makes it that much easier on the OE pad, the OE disc. It kind of the fact that the system has got good cooling, you've got good thermal capacity in the disc.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, and obviously from the AMS test this morning, the BMW barely seemed to drop. Only on kind of stop 18 and 19 did the pedal start to get a little bit longer, but up until that point the standard brake system was actually very good. So again, it'll be interesting to put the EBCs on it, just see where we are. I mean, in terms of performance, I think we're going to be there or thereabouts, if not slightly more. Obviously we're not really pushing that envelope too far, but the main thing that I'm interested in is you reporting about how they feel. You know, because it's that feel that inspires the confidence.
The main thing I'm after is the pedal travel. You know, I'm hoping with the EBC stuff we're going to put in there now, it hopefully will make the pedal a bit harder, give me a bit more confidence. That's what I'm after. You know, the actual performance of the standard pad, like we said, is pretty good. So even if it's a little bit better than that, it's more the pedal travel that I'm after.
It's the feel.
It is the feel I'm looking for under the foot. I don't want to, feel too much ABS kicking in. Just a nice, controllable pedal. That's what we're looking for. So BMW 1M is EBC Bluestuff padded on a standard disc. So I've just started my first proper lap. So far so good. This time we're in the dry, so it's nice to give the car a proper good skiing to in the dry. So initial thought on the pad is it's not warm enough yet. So it's not that it's fading at all. It's just not warm enough, it's not properly operating. So I think we need another lap or so. The temperatures are cold, I'm only at 100, 150. So I'm really just trying to lean on it, get some heat into it, and then hopefully we'll have a nice brake pedal. Now. Yeah, that's it. The bike's coming. Okay, so 140 miles an hour to turn 1. Okay, so 300 degrees now. Yeah, there's definitely a much better bite on the brake. You get a little bit of a vibration just from the disc. Obviously there's a drilled disc, standard disc. So you get a little bit of a vibration from that. Yeah, the pad is definitely working well, that's for sure. There we go. Well above 300 now. Pretty late. Nearly 400 now with the brake temperature. That's pretty good. Now with the front disc temperature, so it's definitely well on my way. So far so good. The brake pedal is definitely a lot harder than the BMW one was in terms of that first percentage. Now I wouldn't say it's giving you massive brake performance more, a little bit, but it's not massively noticeable. But it is definitely a harder brake pedal, which is exactly what I was after really with the standard pad. Change the settings there. There we go. Okay, so we're still at 400 roughly with the temperature. Brake's still performing well. We're on about lap 7 now. It's still really good with the brake pedal. I've turned all the traction off now just to try and get the car to move a bit, try and be a little bit more aggressive with the braking. Nice, car good balance, brake pedal still good. There we go. The interesting thing is the brake temperature is definitely lower than the BMW one. So it's only staying at 400. I'm not really getting it much above. So it's about 50 degrees less than the standard BMW pad. And I'm driving a lot harder because obviously we're in the dry now compared to the wet with the BMW pad. So it's interesting to see. Yeah, I'm not getting any more than 400. Okay, so the brake pedal is just starting to go a little bit long. It's not perfect, you know, it is going a little bit long now under the foot, but the performance is still well and truly there. So we keep going, just see what the brake pedal does. Okay, so I'm working a bit hard now, 440. Performance is still great, but I'm just getting a slightly long pedal. The temperature has peaked a little bit. We're at 430 now. Going any more, 420, temperature's still good. Like I said, brake pedal, I've lost probably the first 20% of travel, but the performance is still well and truly there. There we go, test complete, I'm happy with that. That's 10 laps, I'm starting to lose the brake pedal a little bit, but the crucial thing is the performance is still there. You know, in terms of feel, it's fairly similar to what the BMW pad gives you. Obviously I was in the wet then, this is in the dry. I've gone about 2 laps longer, and the temperature is still less than the BMW pad. But I think, you know, definitely the pedal stayed with me for longer, and it's given me a tiny bit more performance. But in terms of the way it drops off, it is quite similar to the BMW pad. It's just giving you a little bit more, and obviously I'm trying a lot harder as we're in the dry. So yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Talk to me about the BMW, because it wasn't quite as clear cut with that, was it? The EBC versus the OE.
No.
So what was your experience on the EBC Bluestuff pads then?
It was in the way that it actually operated in terms of, you know, when the fade came in, how the actual pad worked through the 10-lap period. Again, a 10-lap period that we did.
It's a long stint.
Yeah. The only difference was obviously it was dry for the Bluestuff run compared to the OE run.
So the lap times are quite a bit harder.
Yeah.
So you'd expect that you'd be working the brakes quite a bit because you've got that much more traction. You're really going to be pushing on.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, my honest opinion is it's not massively different in the way they operate. You know, so the OE pad lasted about 4 laps before we started to get a bit of a long pedal.
Yeah.
Fairly similar with the Bluestuff, but all I would say is the pedal was a lot firmer with the Bluestuff, so it gave you a nicer feel, you know, throughout the duration of the run.
So in terms of the numbers, there probably wasn't too much, and I think that's confirmed by the AMS test. I think that's more to do with the fact that the standard material on this 1M
is good.
Is a very good material from BMW, isn't it? A very good material out of the box.
Yeah.
So the performance, in terms of the numbers that we're generating are probably quite similar, but in terms of that feel, which actually gives the driver confidence and allows you to really attack the braking zones, how do you feel the OE compared to the EBC compared to OE?
Yeah, it's just purely a harder pedal with the Bluestuff. It just gives you a little bit more confidence, you know, when in the whole of the braking phase throughout the run. But you know, it did drop off a little bit, like we said. But there's no worse points, more importantly, about the EBC pad at all. But I think it's just fair to say that the BMW pad out of the box is fairly decent, you know, and it will do the job for most things. But if you want that extra little bit of feel and, you know, give it a little bit of run time, it's also worth mentioning the temperatures we saw. So with the Bluestuff, we're seeing 20 degrees less than what we saw with the OE
20
pad.
or more than 20?
It was 25, 30.
It was only, okay, so it's a little bit less, but obviously that is in the dry.
This is the
when
thing.
You'd expect it to be that much hotter.
This is the thing. You know, just to put it into context, we're lapping like 10 seconds a lap quicker. So the braking phases are a lot harsher.
Around a 1 minute 12, you know, sort of lap at Coombe. That is very quick, isn't it? 10-second improvement.
You know, we're approaching turn 1 at 142 miles an hour in the dry, whereas in the wet we're doing 130-ish, 135. So it's almost a 10 mile an hour difference, and obviously that 10 mile an hour braking, you know, even later, that's a harsh period. So considering the temperatures were still less with the Bluestuff and we were going that much faster, actually it's
quite impressive.
And
obviously we haven't actually taken the pads out yet, the EBC pads out, to look at the surface. I mean, we might look at the OE pads and find that they cracked it. So we'll do a full kind of review on the actual condition of the pads and the wear as best we can. But in terms of feel, so I think we covered the 1M.